was 20 when they found their way to the majors. They spent much of their adult lives together and won a championship in the process. In a moment, Tram and Lou, together, as always, take us back, and we'll chat about their unique, timeless relationship in a moment. Of 1977, Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker cracked Ralph Houck's lineup and were together again forever. They won a title together in 1984, and it's always great to have them side by side again.
What I really remember is a great bunch of ball players. I mean, we had a lot of fun, and we had a great manager, great coaching staff, great players. Couldn't ask for more.
Tram?
Well, again, as Lou just mentioned, I mean, we came up together. So, I mean, we had a group of guys that came up through the minor leagues, and, you know, things are a little bit different nowadays, but still, the basis of a nucleus comes from the farm system. That's what happened with the '84 team. And, again, it never gets old. The stories always get better. That's the truth when you get a little older. And it's just great to be back with my old teammates.
You guys were tied together for so many years. You don't get a chance to see each other very much anymore. What's it like being back together?
Never gets old. You know, again, I think when we were playing, I mean, we obviously, you know, knew that we were linked together. But I think when you get older, you appreciate things a little bit more. And I know I do. But again, to play with somebody that special, again, it just that's awesome.
But you're really different people. I mean, as much as you meshed on the field, were you guys friends off the field as well?
Of course. Tram and I, we grew up together, and we hung together. We ate together. We talked baseball together. We played 19 years together. So we did what we dreamed of doing as kids.
All right, quick thought about the Detroit fans. You know how much they meant to your team back then. They still mean to this team today. How special are they?
Oh, it is. I mean, I've said many times, I'll say it again, this is a great sports town, and we certainly appreciate it. That's why I'm back, again, to see my old teammates, but again, to say thank you again to the fans who've been so special to all of us.
All right, Lou?
Well, Tiger fans have always been excited, and they have always looked for championship teams, and we were fortunate enough to give them one, and hopefully this generation will give them one.
They'll receive a huge ovation, as will many of their former teammates when they're introduced to the crowd here at Comerica Park tonight. We will take you to the ceremony celebrating that World Series trophy next.
Ball players. We dreamed of stretching singles into doubles, of diving catches at Wrigley and towering home runs at Fenway. We dreamed of the crowd rising to their feet, of being shoulder to shoulder with the best players in the game. And on July 15th, a few of those dreams come true.
In 1984, the Tigers just owned the town. Juan Berenguer, Dave Rozema, Rod Allen and company, their 35-5 start set them up for a magical season. And tonight, many of them are back to celebrate the 30th anniversary of that title. Pearl is the symbol attached to this anniversary, and a gem of a season is being recalled tonight in front of a packed house at Comerica Park on a warm, sultry evening. And warm will describe the reception they're about to get.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the 1984 World Champion Detroit Tigers. Tonight, we welcome back players, coaches, and staff who made that 1984 team possible. But first, please turn your attention to the video board in left field for a video tribute to the 1984 Detroit Tigers team.
When September comes, we'll be there. Now, there ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When September lands, Detroit Tigers will be in the race. I don't know whereabouts we'll be. I think we'll be very close, either leading or be right on somebody's heels. But we're a good baseball team. Everybody, that's the one thing they want to understand about this team.
First stage of that streak that I remember is we start off 9-0.
2 out, 2 on. Here we go. Now ball right side. Way for a base hit. Here comes third base. Tigers will win the ball game.
You get to the point of counting them off. You get to 10 games over.
Play! Great play! What a play by Brookins. Holy cow!
Some of the ball games that were real close, we were winning. Extra inning games, we were winning.
You try to get to 20
hats off. We've played 40 games now, and we've won 35. So it was just one of those amazing, amazing things.
But we never quit, you know, just because we were ahead in the division, it's still just the beginning.
Well, for me, they're both Hall of Famers. That's what I think of Lou and Al. They're, you know, both guys, I don't know where my career would be without them.
To put it in perspective, we'd get into a jam. Roger Craig would come out to us on the mound and talk and says, okay, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a breather, let you catch your breath. Now go get a ground ball to Tramp. You know, like you're going to just throw a pitch and have him get a ground ball to Tramp.
From all the double play combinations I saw, I thought they were as good as I had ever seen.
Tramp and I, we grew up together, and we knew we were going to be a part of the future with the Detroit Tigers.
For us to be known together as a tandem, Whitaker Trammell, you know, there's not too many people out there that can be known together. It's not one or the other, it's both of us, and that's very special.
Here's a long bell, way back, deep and gone. A home run for Evans. Oh, he hit that one a mile.
Well, it was great to get Darryl because he was a veteran player that everybody respected.
It wasn't the pressure of having to be the guy. I could just be one of the guys.
Not good pitch. Long fly ball, deep left field. A three-run homer for Lance Terry.
The big wheel, as I say, you know, Lance was really kind of the captain because he was big in stature. You know, when he spoke, you know, people listened.
He don't want to do your check, no sign. Because he coming back to you and he said, if you do it one more time, I'll come and get you. You know, this.
Kirk Gibson was probably the most intense competitor I've ever been around.
He kept us going. He kept us up no matter what.
He played the game like his head was on fire. I mean, he just played with a mean streak.
Chet Lemon, center fielder, I mean, he was a go-getter. I mean, he is very, very good defensively. If he can get to a ball, he's going to catch it.
You have Larry Herndon, who never said a word, but he was the greatest teammate. He would fight for you. He would play hard for you.
And we had guys like Rupert Jones and Rusty Kuntz and Johnny Grubb. Every time we needed a hit, every time we needed to move a runner over, every time he brought somebody out of the bullpen to get somebody out, they got the job done.
And it was all coming together as the team would want it to.
It was just a all-around team. It was just Detroit Tigers' year.
3-2 pitch. He got him on strike.
Jack Morris was the big, you know, he's the ace of the staff and everything. Bullheaded, you know, just hates to lose.
This guy just took it to another level. When the game was close, you know, that's the guy you wanted on the mound.
Struck him out.
Those three guys, you know, when you got guys winning 19, 18, and 17, that's pretty good pitching staff right there.
I think there's always some good to come out of the competition between number one and number two starters to try to push each other. And I think both Danny and I did that to each other. It was wonderful.
Look at that. It is too much.
We had just picked Willie up in spring training halfway through March.
Well, I don't think any of us had any expectations that this guy was going to be Cy Young and MVP.
Willie got his pitches over, and he would come with that screwball.
His pinpoint command was really impressive. Sparky knew how to put him in games where he was going to be successful.
Sparky had that special gift of being able to motivate a grown man, a veteran player. You trusted what he had to say, and a lot of times his decisions were gut decisions and always seemed to come through.
It's no accident that, you know, that guy ends up with, you know, these kind of players, and these players are playing as well as they can for that guy.
I loved him, and I loved the fact that he expected us to wear the uniform with pride and respect it and play hard every day.
The pitch, he swings on this, a fly ball to left. Here comes Herndon, he's there, he's got it. The Tigers are the champions of 1984.
And now, 30 years later, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to this year's anniversary celebration. Let's all welcome the voice of the Detroit Tigers, play-by-play announcer on 97.1 FM The Ticket, Dan Dickerson.
Thank you, Bob. What a great tribute. What great memories from that '84 season. 30 years ago, I was a Cub reporter in Grand Rapids. My lasting memory of that 1984 team was not just the 35-5 start, although that was pretty incredible, wasn't it? Every time I think about it, 35-5. But really how this team captured the hearts and vocal cords of fans throughout the city and throughout the state. Every night I turn on the radio and listen to Ernie and Paul, and there would be this roar coming through the radio. I don't ever quite remember a roar like that. It was partly because of this new thing called the Wave that was making its way around the country and around Tiger Stadium night after night. But it was mainly because fans just loved watching this team play. Team full of stars and big personalities that provided such great memories right through the summer and fall of 1984. I thoroughly enjoyed watching from afar, listening from the other side of the state. It's my distinct honor to be here tonight to introduce one of the great teams in baseball history, the 1984 Detroit Tigers. First from the clubhouse and coaching staff for the 84 Tigers, currently in his 37th season with the Detroit Tigers Major League Club. He was in charge of that Tigers clubhouse in '84, a lively clubhouse from what I understand. Still Detroit's clubhouse manager 30 years later, Jim Schmeichel. Longtime trainer for the team. He joined the Tigers organization in 1970. He served as trainer for the Tigers at the Major League level from 1980 through 1990 for Pio DeSalvo. He served on the Tigers championship coaching staff in 1984, part of a 24-year coaching career in Detroit. And he was also an infielder on that '68 World Championship team. Number 53, Dick Tracewski. Our final coach is a baseball lifer. He played in the big leagues across 10 seasons with the Cardinals, Reds, and Cubs. The manager of the Milwaukee Brewers, 1976 and 1977. Served as a valuable coach for Sparky Anderson in both Cincinnati and here in Detroit. Won the World Series in '75 and of course in '84. Please welcome Alex Grammas. And before we introduce the players from the 1984 team, I'd like to take a moment to recognize a very special person in the broadcast history of the Detroit Tigers. He worked with Ernie Harwell for 19 years in that radio booth, provided some of the great moments with that great baritone voice. He's here in attendance tonight. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Paul Carey. And now the pitching staff from 1984. This middle reliever was an important piece in the Tigers bullpen. He was a workhorse. He won 5 games, saved 4, 47 games, 93 innings of work. Number 40, Doug Bear. Tigers pitcher from '82 through '85. He started 27 games in 1984. Had a .348 ERA, struck out 118. He was always fun to watch. Please join me in welcoming number 44, Juan Berenguer. He was an 18-game winner in '84. Had the lowest ERA of any Tigers starter that year at .324. He won 119 games in his 11 years with the Tigers. Number 46, Dan Petrie. Tigers Rookie of the Year in 1977. He started 16 games in that 1984 season. In the month of June, 3-0, 289 ERA, consistent starts. Number 19, Dave Rozema. And now the Tigers outfielders for the 1984 team. Reserve outfielder for the Tigers in '84. He hit .296 in his limited action. And today's half of the best TV broadcast duo in Major League Baseball. Number 12, Rod Allen. An exceptional pinch hitter who provided the Tigers with timely clutch hits, specifically showcased with his game-winning 11th inning two-run double in Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. Please welcome number 30, John Grubb. Now the Tigers infielders from the '84 team. He was a 9th-round pick of the Tigers in 1982. Spent 7 years in the big leagues, 4 with the Tigers, 3 with the Twins. He was a valuable backup infielder on that '84 championship team. Please welcome Doug Baker. Acquired by the Tigers in that big trade right before the '84 season. This first baseman was a key role player on that World Championship team. Excellent fielder, well as a consistent bat at the plate. He hit .273 in the first half, .273 in the second. Number 14, Dave Bergman. First-round pick of the Tigers in 1975. He played second, short, and third in '84. Played 10 seasons with the Tigers, playing in over 1,200 games. Coached under Jim Leyland for 4 years. Number 16, Tommy Brookins. Signed as a free agent right before '84, he was a leader in the clubhouse and on the field. He had 141 home runs, drove in 405 in his 5 years as a Tiger. Number 41, Darrell Evans. Another key role player on that '84 team. Played mainly first and third for the Tigers in 1984. Batting average of .287, 9 RBIs as a pinch hitter. Made him one valuable offensive threat off the bench. Number 27, Barbaro Garbe. Tigers shortstop for 20 years. He defines what it is to be a Detroit Tiger and a world champion. 6-time All-Star, winner of 4 Gold Gloves, the MVP of the 1984 World Series. Number 3, Alan Trammell. His double play partner for 19 seasons. From 1979 to 1995, Rookie of the Year in '78, 4 Gold Gloves. He appeared in 5 consecutive All-Star games, including in '84. Please welcome Lou Whitaker. In addition to these men on the field, several other players contributed to the success of that 1984 team. They were unable to join us today, but we sure want to acknowledge Lance Parrish, Chet Lemon, Larry Herndon, starting pitcher Jack Morris, and Tigers outfielder Kirk Gibson. And now to lend some perspective on the historic nature of that '84 team, please welcome an important baseball historian. He spent 18 years in the Tigers organization in the front office, executive vice president and chief operating officer, before he joined the National Baseball Hall of Fame, where he was their senior vice president. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Bill Hasse.
Thank you, Dan, and hello, everybody. I'm honored to have been asked to share some highlights with you of this great 1984 Tigers team and that magical season. So many stories to share, but so little time to do it in. Truly a year to remember in Tigers history. As it's been said, the Tigers started out the '84 season 35-5. That's 35 wins with just 5 losses. That led local sports broadcaster Al Ackerman to dub these guys, Bless You Boys. Alan Trammell, who was the 1984 World Series MVP, and Sweet Lou Whitaker were our 1-2 punch at the top of the lineup. Leading off the Tigers' half of first innings in the 5 World Series games, they were on base 9 out of 10 times. These two guys also formed a keystone combination, playing together for 19 consecutive years in the big leagues. That, folks, is a record that may last forever. Our pitching staff, guided by pitcher coach Roger Craig, consisted of Jack Morris, Dan Petrie, Dave Rozema, Milt Wilcox, relievers Willie Hernandez, Juan Berenguer, and senior smoke Aurelio Lopez. Ironically, with 104 season victories, we did not have any 20-game winners. The closest to that mark were Jack Morris with 19, Dan Petrie with 18, and Milt Wilcox with 17. And who forget Dave Bergman's notable at-bat against the Toronto Blue Jays in the 10th inning of the nationally televised June 4th game right here in Detroit. Dave came to the plate in the bottom of the 10th, 2 men on, 2 out, and the game tied at 3. He fouled off pitch after pitch after pitch, which seemed like took forever. But then he prevailed and hit a pitch into the upper deck in right field for the game-winning home run. I guess in today's jargon, that would be known as a walk-off. That was a big win for us, as the Blue Jays were right behind us in the standings and kicking up their heels. Veteran first baseman Darrell Evans, who joined the team just prior to the '84 season, provided stability and steadying influence both in the clubhouse and on the field. And when you talk about steady, you have to include Tom Brookins. Tommy could play third, short, second, flawlessly. And I'm convinced he could have done it all at one time. And we cannot forget the season Kirk Gibson gave us. He was a true team leader and was named the 1984 LCS MVP. His at-bat against Goose Gossage in the 8th inning of Game 5 of the World Series, played here in Detroit, was as famous as any he ever had. We were up by 1 run at that point, 5-4. As Gibby was about to step in against Gossage, with men on second and third, Dick Williams, the Padres manager, wanted to intentionally walk him. Goose wanted no part of that, telling Williams in a conference on the mound that he could get Gibby out. So Williams gave in. Goose's first pitch was a fastball inside. Then he delivered another fastball out over the plate. Well, folks, the rest is history, as Gibson launched it into the upper deck in right field to give us an 8-4 lead. A bit of irony, that score stood up as our Tigers won the 1984 World Series by a final score of 8-4. When Larry Herndon was running in from left field to catch the last out, which was a fly ball off the bat of Tony Gwynn, I remember looking up into the left field stands, and I saw a sign up there that said, By George, I think we've got it. Speaking of George, the man who led the 1984 team, the field general, was George Sparky Anderson. Sparky had a knack for satisfying the media's thirst for stories while keeping his players focused on the field. The coaching staff, made up of Dick Tracewski, Roger Craig, Billy Consolo, Alex Graham, and of course, our own Gates Brown. Sparky went on to be elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 2000 and was the first manager ever to win a World Series in both leagues. As you can tell, 1984 was not a year of singular feats, but rather one of a total team effort. A magical season? Yes. A great season? Absolutely. But truly a season of destiny. I would be remiss if I did not mention that we also have some guys from this 1984 team who are more than worthy of Cooperstown recognition. Alan Trammell, Jack Morris, and Lou Whitaker top my list. We will relive this season forever, as we should. It is my distinct honor to speak on behalf of the 1984 world champion Detroit Tigers. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And now, please welcome a true Tigers legend, the most valuable player in the '84 World Series, one of the all-time greats in Tigers history, and with Sweet Lou and Jack, he does belong in baseball's Hall of Fame. Number 3, Alan Trammell.
Thank you. First of all, on behalf of my former teammates, former coaches, I couldn't be more honored to be up here in front of you. 5 years ago, I had the honor to do this, and I'm going to tell you, the stories never get old. Winning never gets old, as these two clubs today are going to do battle here in a few minutes. But going back 30 years ago, it is hard to believe it's been that long. So many great memories. We might be a little older with our looks, but I can tell you firsthand, we're still young at heart. And we appreciate each and every one of you coming out, supporting through all the years. A lot of great memories. Obviously, '84 was the best. Again, I am the spokesperson for the '84 team, but just a small piece of that cog. A great team. You want to say there's maybe some stars? I don't call it that. We were just doing our jobs, something that we were taught. Sparky Anderson was our mentor. I'm proud to say that. Still today as a coach, passing along the torch. But I mean that in all sincerity, that Sparky was the captain of the ship, and without it, it wouldn't have been done. Once again, to the fans, all the years, all the support, through thick and thin, you've always been to support the Tigers, all the other sports here in Detroit and Michigan. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you once again. For my teammates, thank you very much for coming out. '84 was very, very special. Thanks again.
One more time, a hand for your 1984 world champion Detroit Tigers.
Oh, what a great scene. The memories come rushing back. It is hard to believe it's been 30 years, but now it is game time. Don't forget that Call Sam Studios is your place to be right after the game for all the highlights, analysis, and reaction on Tigers Live. Mario and Ron are up next as the Tigers get ready to open a big 3-game series with the Oakland A's. Enjoy the ball game, everybody.